let's talk about Nanami. To understand Nanami completely, we have to go from the beginning, so excuse me if you already know some of this stuff. When used regularly, Nanami's first, second, third, and fourth moves are all blockable, but of course, with every other character, there are measures you can take to get around these blocks. For Nanami's first move, just simply go around it. For second, you have to turn around and use the back directional variation of it. For the third move, you can't really do it by itself to get through block unless you use the aerial or ratio versions, which is exactly what we're gonna Give me this damn mic. What my past self forgot to explain is that once a player is lower in health, the ratio point comes out a lot faster, so you have to react faster too. Just remember that. Well, I better get out of here before he wakes up. Nanami only has 3 moves with ratio point variations, which they are all very useful if used right. Each different variation does a certain thing to the enemy player once hit. With the first move, when hit on a blocking player, it causes them to have their arm broken just for a temporary time. This causes their blocking hitbox to be way smaller than usual. For some reason, this also makes the hitbox on both sides smaller instead of just the arm. With the third move on blocking, you break the player's leg temporarily. This causes the enemy player to no longer be able to dash for a short period of time. The fourth move when hit with ratio point causes the enemy player to be stunned for a longer period of time. This can be followed up with a fully charged blunt cut or cleaving whirlwind. Now, let's bring it back to Severance kick and its different variation. There is a slight difference between them, and they're actually pretty useful to know. When doing the back variation of the Severance kick, it does its full 12 damage because it bypasses block, but there is a trade-off to this. When using Severance kick, after it's immediately done, you can press blunt cut to immediately use it instead of doing a wait time for it. Of course, this trades off the reverse kick bypass of the block, and this also sadly means that it's green. So if you still dream of following up with that front dash, you're gonna have to get used to backwards Severance kick. And little fun fact that may be useful, if you use reverse kick on someone who's doing a move, it stuns them and it doesn't send them backwards. I didn't capture footage of this because I'm lazy. Now, let's talk about the air variant of blunt cut. Regularly, cross cut does 9 damage in total without ratio point. 9 damage isn't a lot, but it does go through block with the second hit. But I would be careful with this because it can be interrupted. The ratio point of cross cut can go through block, and it does a nice 15 damage. Cross cut by itself can bypass ragdoll, and the ratio point version as well. If you use cross cut with ratio point, you can also stagger people's dashes if you interrupt them, blocking included. This also works with the second hit of crosscut and ratio point if you time it right. This instead breaks their arm and makes their hitbox smaller, of course. I got 2 more things to talk about before we head into the ult, one of them being black flashes and how to land them. Black flashes are pretty simple to land. All you need to do is land ratio point and use the 4th M1. Only thing is that there isn't a down slam variation of it, only an uppercut. Hitting black flashes raw is pretty hard, but you can do it in the middle of your M1s by using ratio point at the right time. When using the uppercut variation, it does send your enemy quite far away, but this does work in your favor at some point. For some odd reason, Z added the feature where cleaving whirlwind can hit immediately after an uppercut black flash for some reason. It doesn't even matter if you do it too early because they're in the air, it'll still hit. And if you read what I said earlier like the true mango reader you are, you'll learn that ragdolled ratio stabilize doesn't work how it's supposed to, and instead just does the regular one. This means your sneaky ass can smuggle in blunt cut or cleaving whirlwind. Now it's finally time to get to the most important aspect of the character, the I do believe that Nanami's ultimate is one of the most versatile ults in the entire game. His kit consists of 3 ranged moves and 1 grab. Now, you might be wondering what the hell I'm talking about because the first move is only a black flash and doesn't really have any range. Well, if you're not already the millionth person who already knows about this, you can do 4 consecutive black flashes if you use ratio point with them. And the ranged move I was talking about was the 3rd and 4th black flash, which gains some pretty good distance. Now, if you didn't already know this, you can hit all 4 black flashes raw and it will kill. It is quite hard to do, but if you can land it on a buffoon, then props to you. One of Nanami's ult passives is quite strange, making him being able to destroy any debris or buildings or whatever. What does make sense when you figure out that his passive is making 18 damage with his full M1 chain instead of his regular 14. Now, regular Sharpen doesn't do anything like break anybody's legs, but it does be paired up with ratio point. It also does the exact same thing with the aerial version if ratioed. What a lot of people don't cover, and I'm surprised myself by, is that if you aim the Sharpen aerial by the ratio point that it's shown, it comes out and makes a big erosion. I mean, that's what the move's called. With a third move, interrogation, you must be near or almost right next to a wall to hit it. If you don't, you're gonna miss it. If you ratio the first hit of interrogation, it'll break their leg, making it a whole lot harder for them to run away. And if you ratio the second hit, it'll break their arm. Fun fact with interrogate, with Harutas, if you hit them with interrogate, their miracles will not work and will be completely bypassed. Now it's finally time to conclude it with collapse and what it can do. If you use collapse normally, you will almost always miss it and absolutely do nothing. To actually use it correctly, you have to hit the ground or any wall or anything that has debris so then it can actually activate. If nothing happens and you have a bunch of floating rocks, that means you have to press it again, and if you don't press it again after 8 seconds, the debris will fall. Now if you miss it like an absolute idiot, you can use Sharpen to cancel it out and do that instead. One last thing before we move on, your block is just you standing, so have fun confusing people. Now it's about time to talk about Nanami's pros and cons, but I won't be covering the cons. I invited someone over to do that for me, and now that I think about it, he should be coming over any second. Oh, hey man.
Oh my god.
Sit in the chair. Sit in the chair. Sit in the chair. Stay in the chair!
Okay.
Alright, let's talk about Nanami's pros. Camera, over here. Yeah, thank you. One Nanami pro that's pretty insane is a counter to a block mechanic that I call anti-evasive block. Now, there's probably already a name for this mechanic, but I'm not too sure, so I'm just making one right now. You've probably already used this mechanic before, and or probably fallen victim to it. I'll show a clip of it right now. Being said, Nanami is one of the few characters that actually has a counter to A.E.B, one of them being Blunt Cut. And don't worry, this also works with Cleaving Whirlwind. One other positive for Nanami's entire kit is of course his ratio point and how much damage he can do when used correctly. I'll show you 2 combos, one of them without ratio point and one with, and I'll add a little counter just for little old you. And here's the same combo but with ratio point added. Now I know it doesn't seem like there's much of a difference between damage, but trust me, Nanami's a freestyle character, so if you land another combo like that, they're definitely gonna die. The last big main pro of Nanami is his moves that interrupt, making fighting Naoya and other fast characters quite easy. Well, that's about it for the pros, and that means it's...
What? Who, me?
Yeah, you're supposed to go my turn, because it's like a cool little transition, but you know.
Alright, so let's get started on Nanami's cons. One huge con is Nanami's alt animation. The fact is that almost all beams hit her like Ryu and Yuta, but for some reason, not Choso. That's why I recommend starting your alt with ratio stabilized into G. I know Juice just covered apart, saying using cancel moves makes fighting Naoya much easier, but if they primarily made Naoya or other aggressive characters, you'll have a difficult time with blocking, because Nanami has almost no movement skills aside from Blood Cut. The last con that I'm going to talk about is his reliance on ratio. Without ratio, Nanami's combos become pretty weak, making him lose that precious heavy hitter spot in the Big Four. I was going to mention how he's sort of an M1 merchant, but I just realized that backward Severance kick is kind of like his combo starter, so take it how you will.
Nanami is definitely a heavy hitter, with a ton of mix-up potential. He has a lot of moves that break block with ratio point.
And not to mention, there's no tell for the enemy player when you hit ratio point, only that first visual sound in effect when first used.
This makes him quite confusing to handle, and his ratio variations make him very versatile. And me and Oliver decided to have our own separate reviews for the character itself. So, me personally, I review him a solid 8.9.
Hey guys, this is me, Morse Critical. So, to rate Nanami, I'll give him a decent 5 Donald Trump phones out of 10 Kashimas. Yeah, that's about it. I'll see you in the next video.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video through the end. It means absolutely everything that you guys are so interested in this video that you actually got to finish it. And please, if you actually like this content, please make sure to like and subscribe, because I'm trying to hit 100 subscribers right now. Every subscriber counts. Right now I have 23 from starting this video, and I want to thank absolutely everyone from down to the bottom of my heart whoever subscribed, and liked and watch all of my videos. And a huge shout out to Oliver for helping me create this video. He doesn't have any social medias that is like related to content creations or anything. But if you guys want me to make more videos with him, just type in the comments. Well, I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I'll catch you later.